Well, hello there, everyone. I am excited to give my review finally of the new Mickey Dolenz record, Dolenz Sings Nesmith. This is a record I've been looking forward to for a good while. It was announced, earlier this year officially, but I know that there were talks about it sometime last year. That Mickey Dolenz, of course, from the Monkees, would be singing the songs of Mike Nesmith, his Monkees bandmate, and then 7A Records, a small record company, I believe out of the UK, signed on for the project to be the label. And Mickey, with the help of Michael's son, Christian Nesmith, laid down the vocal tracks. Christian did most of the instrumentation himself. They had a few other outside musicians take place, but the majority of the musicianship is Christian, which is incredibly impressive. And Christian has worked with his dad and his dad's solo projects, as well as the later incarnations of the Monkees with Mike and Mickey both playing. Christian has been in the band with them as one of the musical directors. So this was really a neat project to have, the young Nesmith working with the old Dolenz. But here is the inside. Some very cool shots there. There's the Monkees shot of the two of them, and just some archival images of Mickey you can see there. And then there's this shot, which has been one of his press photos for a few years. Mickey's in great voice overall on this album. I mean, he's one of those voices that, it's Mickey when he's singing. And and I know one of the things that they tried to avoid on this record was doing greatest hits. I know, like Mike, for example, Mike Nesmith, he wrote songs like Mary, Mary for the Monkees. And, of course, Mickey Dolenz sang lead on that when they were with the Monkees. However, he didn't want to do a cover version of himself doing a Monkey song. He just thought that was ridiculous. So these songs were, I believe all of them were sung by Mike originally. There were a few Monkees era tracks. The first opening track, Carlisle Wheeling, is a Monkees track. Songs like Circle Sky from the movie Head is on here. And there are some songs that date back to the Monkees era, but they were really for Michael's first national band albums, like Nine Times Blue, Little Red Rider, Propinquity, I've Just Begun to Care, Tapioca Tundra, that's another Monkees era song. And I mean, it's just a beautiful package. The idea of it was years ago, Harry Nilsson released an album called Nilsson Sings Newman, or Randy Newman, and their cover was very similar to this. And so this is kind of a tribute to that, as Mickey and Harry were both drinking buddies in the old Hollywood Vampires drinking group, with some others. Ringo Starr was in that group as well. But 7A always does a fantastic packaging job. I mean, you're not just getting the record. I mean, you're getting a fairly good size booklet there, and it's got some really neat photos, like this one, for example. I'll just flip to it. That's Mike and Mickey right there in some later years tours. I believe that's when they were touring as Mike and Mickey, hugging backstage there. And let me see, just some neat shots of Mickey in the studio. And I mean, it's an album that's just it's so good. There's Christian right there. He kind of looks like his dad, and there's Mickey. And I know, and there's a really good essay in here. Mickey gives an intro, and Christian also has 2 pages as well that he's written out. But it was neat because I know Mickey Dolenz talked about he approached these songs like Frank Sinatra in the studio, where he was just the singer. I mean, he didn't have to worry about being a drummer. He didn't have to worry about being Mickey the monkey. Christian had laid down all the tracks for them to record, and Mickey sang them. And that's just so cool. And if you've heard some of these last few Monkees albums, you had the Good Times album, which was released 5 years ago this past week. You had the Monkees Christmas album that came out a couple years later. You had the Mike and Mickey live album that just came out So I mean, the Monkees are kind of on a new resurgence here, even though half of the group has passed away with Davey and Peter um, leaving us earlier years. But let me actually go through some of the songs here. Um, Carlisle Wheeling is kind of neat, psychedelic how it starts out the album. He does a really good peppy version of Different Drum, which is probably the biggest hit on here. I'm actually surprised they did Different Drum because it's been done so many times. There are different versions by Mike, of course, Linda Ronstadt. Um, Others have done it as well. I want to say maybe Glenn Campbell did it. I'm not 100% on that. My favorite Michael Nesmith song, I think, is Keep On, and that's got a really cool intro to it. Just great lyrics. Consider the source and ignore if you can. You're doing just fine. Keep on keeping on. He does a really slow version of Nine Times Blue from the First National Band album, Magnetic South, that Mike did in 1970. And of course, on that album, Nine Times Blue goes directly into Little Red Rider, which is like a Nine Times Blue is kind of it's like a 2 minute long country folk song, and Little Red Rider just has this really cool bass line. They completely redid both versions. Nine Times Blue is now several minutes long, at least 3 or 4 minutes long. Slowed it down to a ballad, and Little Red Rider is just killer. I mean, it's just so good. Circle Sky may be a highlight, and of course that was a big song on the movie Head and the soundtrack Head by the Monkees. They do this like an Indian raga, and it's really good. Mickey's voice just belts it out, and it's very similar to like Within You Without You from Sergeant Pepper. Only in my opinion, this arrangement is just it's better than that. Um, Tapioca Tundra is good. I mean, from Nine Times Blue into Little Red Rider, it's almost kind of has like a segue, like A Day in the Life by the Beatles, also from Sergeant Pepper. So it's just I don't know. For me, it's just good to see Mickey still doing work, and as a Nesmith fan, probably more a Nesmith fan than a Monkees fan. This is really cool to have. The CD version has a bonus track of the Grand Ennui. The record doesn't have that. I know you can get signed versions of this at Video Ranch, but Michael Nesmith's website, Amazon ran out of copies of their first shipment of this. They didn't think it was going to be as popular as it was, and a lot of these people who ordered this didn't get it. So I'm happy that I got it. If you've gotten it or if you didn't know about it, let me know. I highly recommend it. It's a fantastic album, whether you like the Monkees, you like Nesmith, or you just like good pop music, especially from the 60s era. I mean, I can't say enough good things about it. It's fantastic. Check it out. Thank you, 7A Records. Thank you, Mickey Dolenz. Thank you, Christian Nesmith. And of course, thank you, Mike Nesmith. Take care.